So it's another of them kind of easygoing, chilled, bit daft kind of fragrance videos. You know me, I don't really care how much something projects, if you like. But it's just, you know, it's Beastmode summer bangers, because you know that's what people want apparently. I doubt it. What it basically is that's just a title, isn't it? It's just the kind of more stronger ones I think you can kind of get away with in the heat. You don't want something that really is ridiculously obnoxious, do you? And you just go light with them, don't you? You don't need to wear a bottle. And obviously, it being me, I've put them in little categories, catering for everyone, of course. So yeah, we'll just get into it. So let's start with one of them kind of smart, dressed up business people. They need a fragrance that smells good and has a nice present, but it's nothing too, you know, weird or funky or obnoxious or unusual. I've gone for Carved Oud from Thameen. Now this fragrance, I'm actually wearing it today as it happens, doesn't have... Look, yes, okay, it smells like oud wood, but it does have its own personality. It isn't the same. It's basically that lovely, rich, I always want to say noble wood, rosewood. It's just, it's hard to describe. It's got a lot of presence. It smells kind of shiny and posh and expensive, doesn't it? And it's got this kind of lovely anisiness coming all round it. There might actually be anise in it, and there's, you know, there's lots of other notes. There's some aromatic notes. There's some, I think there's a touch of some florals and stuff, but ultimately it smells of this kind of beautiful rosewood with maybe a little hint of this kind of oud in the base and stuff, and it just smells like very, very classy. It smells like you're going into like but I've never been into like a posh bank, but I imagine everything's like mahogany and let's say rosewood and posh wood surfaces, and everything's gleaming and that it's all perfectly waxed and stuff. It's where people sit, you know, counting their money or whatever business. I don't know what businessman I've got in my mind, but you know what I mean. It just smells classy and elegant. The leather chairs and stuff. It's got that presence about it, and it is that kind of, for me, if you don't like an easy kind of things, you probably wouldn't go for this. It has that, just that sweet, dark, woody smell about it. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a bit, the difference between this and oud wood is more expensive. It's more, well, is it actually? I don't know. Oud wood was the first, wasn't it? It's the one that we all love, and you can't help but love it. This one tends to go in a different direction as it goes through it. It has a bit of muskiness. It's not powdery, but it has much more of a fluffy feel as you go through it, I think. Obviously still with the strong woods and that, but anyway, waffling on too much. That's Carved Oud from Thameen. Next is a sports bro, you know, someone walking around in their trackies or their leggings, you know, with their bellies out, male or female, you know, a little lunchbox kind of look about themselves. I think people in the UK know what I mean there. And you know, and they just want to show off. They might not do any sports at all, but they're just like, look at me. Maybe people who've been on Ozempic as well nowadays. If you've seen that South Park episode, you know what I mean. It's kind of walking about posing, aren't they? Headband round the head, you know, in it, mush, it's all good, it's all good. Just been to the gym when they haven't at all, you know, just taking some Ozempic. So it's kind of these sports bro stuff, and you want something kind of fresh and clean and almost shower jelly. And I've not gone for a really obvious one here, and this one on me is quite a big one. You don't, and I didn't realise that till I wore it in the heat. And the reason I wore it in the heat is because I thought it was quite light and fresh, which it is, but it's got a presence. Anyway, that's Marc Jacobs Rain Splash. Now this is you don't smell half the notes in it. You do get a little bit of the kind of, I think it's actually got grass listed. There is a little bit of a kind of sweet greenness in there, not massively, and then you get the citrus stuff, and then I think there's probably some aromatic notes, some definitely a lot of watery kind of feeling notes, and you get that kind of watery shower smell, if you like. So it smells a little bit blue, a bluey greeny one. And it's just lovely. It's nothing special, it's nothing flash. What makes this stand out from obviously all the famous ones is there's not a ton of ambroxan. It's not quite as pretentious as Bleu de Chanel, so it all works quite nicely, and that's basically it for your kind of sports bros and stuff, smelling all clean and fresh, and all of that is Marc Jacobs Rain Splash. Then we've got rich folks. Generally speaking, rich folks just go for what's expensive. They don't necessarily have much taste or much class about them. They've just got lots of money, which chances are they've inherited, and they just do evil with it basically, don't they? What I've gone for that is actually not one that's, I'd say it's one very sophisticated one, very, very classy, elegant, lovely one. So maybe some rich people have a bit of class. And that's Amouage's Goldman. Now Amouage's Goldman has a big nod and a big kind of, it's very similar to Chanel No. 5. It is very similar to it. Now again, I've not smelled ancient versions of Chanel No. 5, but I imagine them to be more like this than the modern ones. It's like it's a huge lily of the valley. There's a nice ylang going through it, so it smells quite golden. There's obviously the aldehydes, but also in there is the civet is amped up, especially in the beginning. You get that quite raunchy, filthy kind of thing. Now the version of Goldman I've got is sadly a newer version, although I thought I was getting the older one. It was a newer one, it doesn't matter, and the civet's slightly toned down, but the way that kind of, you know, that kind of aromatic purr goes with the clean soapiness and of the lily of the valley and the aldehydes, and mixes with the gold, a sweet kind of things. It's just a perfect juxtaposition. I can't speak today. So yeah, it works beautifully. Now that is amped down, which I suppose makes it fair enough for modern noses. It's just like an ultra refined version of No. 5, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And that's all I can really say. And I think, yeah, rich people, them few out there with class, they've probably earned the money themselves. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Amouage's Goldman. Next up is them sun worshippers, or beach bums, or whatever you want to call them. You get certainly a lot of them in summer, and one of the kind of you know what they're going to smell of. It's going to be suntan lotion, isn't it? One of the best along that kind of vibe. I think it has both tiare and frangipani, and I always mix them two up. And a kind of soft coconuttiness. I don't think it's listed, and a lovely gentle citrus which gives it something. It's not sickly at all, this one. It's long discontinued because, of course, except it isn't really discontinued. It came back and it's called Sun-Kissed Goddess now. It smells slightly cheaper and not as good, and doesn't have as much kind of quality or development, but it's Love the Way You Feel, which is obviously also another Kilian. And it is all of them. It's just these lovely, beautiful tropical florals, the hint of the citrus and that. It's got a nice consistency. It smells like a cream without being creamy. You'd have to smell it. It really is just gorgeous, and unlike a lot of these, there's no sickliness, like I say. It's just nicely finished off. I think there might be vanilla with the woodiness, obviously, which might actually, again, it's not, you can't smell the vanilla, but I think it just smooths it out so it's not too much. Beautiful fragrance, and definitely what all these beach people will be smelling off with their perfect tans, and they'll give you a little flick of their tan lines, won't they? Oh, look at me, I only have a tiny tan line where, you know, I had to cover up. I don't know why they'd sound like that. Maybe the surfers too, but they'd all smell kind of the same, wouldn't they? That's Love the Way You Feel from Kilian. Next is it's kind of a species I think we only get in the UK, and they're called chavs or chavas. These are a group of people who generally wear tracksuits, probably knocked off designer stuff. You know, they'll probably be wearing a pair of juicy shorts and a bralette, whatever they're called, or you know, their Nike Air Max and their strange little shorts that they wear and big gold chains. But they're also this unusual shade of orange, not like the Orange Man. They're not full of hate and awfulness and criminals. Well, they have a criminal element about them. They're not as bad as the Orange Man, but it's this like proper bright orange tan. Back in my day, you'd say they'd been tangoed. But again, that's showing my age now. Yeah, they're just bright orange. So, of course, the fragrance I've gone for is Bitter Peach from Tom Ford, which smells very orange because it's peachy. That's kind of Divana peach, slightly boozy, lovely and fruity. There's a greenness going through it, which probably comes from the Divana. There's probably other notes in there. And also there's this kind of a slight sharp vein, so it's very bright, it's very effervescent. Like I say, it's juicy, it's mouth-watering, it's sumptuous, but it's very, very orange. Maybe they won't wear the real Bitter Peach, but we'll let them off for that. So for chavs and their beautiful tracksuits and gold medallions and stuff and chains, Bitter Peach from Tom Ford. Changing the tone again, middle-aged people. I mean, I suppose I kind of fall into this category. When you get to middle age, you know, they'll be wearing probably linen, white, cream pants and what have you. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I've moved into they'll be less stressed than anyone else. I kind of feel you're just kind of like whatever, especially us middle-aged millennials, I think. But they're not going to think too much about the perfume, are they really? You know, for what's popular, that's it. Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540, BR 540. We all know what it is, this kind of sweet, saffrony, candy flossy, cotton candy as they call it in America. Woody, huge, molecular one. Do you know what it is? I personally am not a big lover of it, but it's bloody popular for a reason, and the kind of molecular feel about it is it's very noticeable. It doesn't smell natural, but they're not particularly bothering chemicals, are they, like nowadays? And it's quite smoothly done, it's rounded off, and obviously with it being so popular there are 4 billion different versions of it, so you'll smell that DNA everywhere you go. And I think, again, you know, in the heat you can't be bothered. It's certainly a beast mode one. I mean, you smell it everywhere, whether that's because it's strong or because literally everyone you're around is wearing it. Who knows? I do know some people are anosmic to this, which strikes me as odd. I think Claire said this in one of her videos. I think you can spray BR 540 like 6 years ago and 13 days, and you will still smell it in that corner of the room where you sprayed it. It just seems to last forever and ever and ever. And I know some people like fragrances that last. So yeah, those kind of middle-aged people who are kind of fed up with the heat, wandering about, wearing something that will kind of mingle them in with everyone else, is a Baccarat Rouge from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Next up on the list is a group of people I have a lot of respect for. My dad being one of them. But bikers, these hard mofos wear leather pants, leather jackets and all of this in the middle of summer. I mean, they are hard, aren't they, really? Let's face it. And there's something about the smell of leather. Oh, it's good, isn't it? Especially in the heat again. I mean, can't be too comfortable for them, but that kind of warm or hot leather that you walk past, it's lovely, isn't it? And again, we know this group of people will have beards, big long curly beards, and the fellas will have long hair. It's that kind of, you know, I don't know how they cope in the heat, but they do. You'll hear them go past on their bikes and that. Generally very polite, nice people in my experience. Quite gentle people as well. But yeah, anyway, I've gone for Tom Ford's Ombre leather, which is so obvious, isn't it, really? It basically just smells of this beautiful black plush leather. And there's a little bit of sweetness in there from the, I think it's jasmine in the original Ombre, isn't it? It just has a little bit of sweetness. I wouldn't call it particularly floral or whatever. And there's a lot more going on than that, but basically, come on, it's just black, lovely leather. So yeah, it's Tom Ford's Ombre leather. Then next we've got them poor buggers who work outdoors in the summer. You'd think it'd be great, wouldn't you? But it ain't. Let's talk about, I don't know why in this whole thing I've had kind of city life in my mind. So there'd be like road maintenance people, road sweepers, builders, labourers, you know, that kind of thing. And they're going to be kind of angry. They're going to smell a little bit kind of funky as well, aren't they, in that heat? But they're going to be bold. You're going to smell them from a mile around. And what I've gone for there is Swedoft's Bohemian. I love this fragrance, and it is massive. One spray in the heat only. It's basically this kind of, always makes me think of like a topless hairy chap on a horse. It's got this kind of, I think, little bit from the oud and a little bit from the leather. It's got this kind of animalic purr about it, and then it's like this rich whiskey, like a peaty whiskey, and the patchouli in there, and then lots and lots of woods and musks. I think there are some florals in there, but it's kind of not what it's about. It's like this big, massive, boozy, leathery, oudy, woody beauty. And because it just is, it's one of these big, strong people working outside, isn't it, in the heat with the sweat dripping down them, and just you know, being very polite, and maybe they smell a bit of the night before. I mean, you'd want to drink on a night, wouldn't you, after a day like they bloody work. So yeah, that's Swedoft's Bohemian for outdoor workers. Next is them kind of emo alternative people. Do they still exist? I'm sure they must. Yeah, of course they will. And they do come out in the sun. They're not like goths, and they'll kind of hang about parks with a skateboard and a joint and what have you. Do a little bit of graffiti and all that stuff. They'll kind of, again, not quite as grumpy. They'll probably not scowl as you walk past, but stare vacantly into space and what have you. They'll look kind of cool as well, and they're going to wear a kind of edgy, cool one. I was going to go for a patchouli one, but I thought, no, this is modern times. So we've gone for Mabelle Arama, and that's Phoenix Flame. It's the latest one. I got a travel size gifted just to pop that in there. That's important. And this one is it's so interesting. It's the main kind of note going through it is sumac, which I know now, with some kind of other sweeter spices, maybe a hint of cinnamon in there. There's the freshness of the cardamom, but it's not like a fizzy bubbly cardamom. It's more on the spicy edge. Obviously there's a woodiness, and obviously it's quite smoky, and it kind of smells very dark browny orange with the kind of smokiness going in there. And I think that the other main element in there is a kind of sweeter but still earthy immortelle, and it's a really interesting, nice fragrance. And there is the lavender just gives that hint of something sweet and aromatic in there. Well, it's not really a main player, but it's there. And I think this is something that would suit someone really edgy and what have you. And obviously, yes, it is big, like it would sound, and especially in the heat, again, 1 or 2 sprays. It's just lovely, and it is something different, and something someone like that, I suppose, with a bit of style would wear. So that's Mabelle Arama's Phoenix Flame for a kind of alternative emo-y type person. And then finally, we're going to go for a student. There's always lots of students in summer, and it's exam time, so they're out and about, well, early summer, and then they're not doing anything, are they? So they've got their lives free. What I've gone for that is I'm going to have to talk about students of my time, because I've got nephews and stuff and nieces who've been to uni and stuff. They're quite boring nowadays. They aren't like what we used to be. I've gone for one-way bridges Amore. Now Amore smells of it's grapes. It's a grape predominant fragrance, but it's like grapes making wine. And also there's a gorgeous muskiness, and there's also this kind of really strong sweat going through it all. This kind of dirty carnal kind of sweatiness and this naughtiness. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And again, in my day, you're going to stink of wine when you're a student. You're going to stink of debauchery. You're going to be kind of chilled and very kind of not giving two F's. Yeah, it's a fun one. And obviously in the heat and stuff, we'd still be drinking wine. We sat in a park with a bottle of boxed wine, probably, playing football and pretending to study. It's a gorgeous fragrance. So that's Amore from One Way Bridge, and that's it. So yeah, that's it again. They are all strong fragrances, but of course that is all subjective. What beams off my skin might not beam off another person's skin, which is why these videos are so ridiculous, isn't it? Plus, when it's summer, it's fun to wear something like this sometimes, and it depends where you are and what you're doing, doesn't it? But other times it's damn right obnoxious to be choking everyone out with ridiculous perfumes, isn't it? When you want to enjoy the summer fresh air and nature and stuff. So about you, what big ones do you wear in the summer? Which of these categories do you slip into? We've probably been one at some point. Alright folks, keeping it brief. Thanks, bye.